do think some of that has kind of spiraled out of control. I always look at things like Total Divas, for instance. Now, when that was like in its boom period, when it first started kicking off, obviously I was one of the few. I was watching it because I thought, this is a good way I can get my other friends to start watching it. But when they watch it, they're like, there's like a third wall, and they're going to talk outside it because. Yeah, the way WWE positions it, it's like, well, actually, this matters more than what you're going to watch every Monday and Friday because they're going to talk about what they're going to do on the show. And I'm like, that really is taking me out of everything.
I know what you mean.
I really, that just drives me mad because I think for WWE, it's almost in their best interest for it to still be that sort of magic mystique about it, you know. And I feel like I'm not sure. I've had this debate with so many people, and I'm not sure that'll ever come back again. You know, I just think it's gone so far. Where do you stand with that? I mean, does it bother you, for instance, being performed?
There's various aspects.
Your
age,
this. For instance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's various aspects of this that I think are good and bad. So. I think the good thing is that we are quite transparent now. Like all our secrets are revealed in 3 clicks of a Wikipedia page. Like you can, it's very easy to find. There's plenty of YouTube videos as well where people are slipping and things like that. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure WWE accidentally, I think they were filming a match, weren't they, at the Performance Center, and they were supposed to be on an advert or a commercial, and when they got back, all the wrestlers were just talking in the ring. There's slip-ups like that, like little things like that can really mess up. But the thing is, I think it's quite good because now, even if we were to get scrutinized as a quote-unquote fake sport, like. I'll always consider wrestling a sport. Like I treat myself like I'm in a sport. Like I'm working out like often, and I'm trying to eat right and things like that. So that's why I'll always consider it a sport. But a lot of people would not, as it's not competitive. It's not a legitimate competitive sport. It's all based on performance and art and things like that. So to a degree, I get it. But with WWE, I think. Even kids know it's not real, but if they're invested, if they're so invested into the product, then they won't care at all. Like I knew as a kid that it wasn't a legitimate contest, but I was still invested either way. Like, and that's what WWE's main market is. It's kids, and that's why you hear, like, I'm sure some of your friends outside of wrestling would say, "Oh yeah, wrestling's dead though. Like, what is it now?" Like, because their period of watching it has gone, and what they had the emotional attachment to has also gone, whether that's a wrestler or the type of product. Because how WWE marketed their product in the Attitude Era is very different to how they market it now. And that's why a lot of older fans don't enjoy it. So, so I understand it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I was probably fortunate enough. So when I was, I was watching for the most part as a kid, I was watching sort of between 95 to about 2000. I left school in 2000. So I kind of knew, like you said, it wasn't legit because if you watch a boxing and then you get exposed to that and you're like, hang on a minute, it's like a couple of punches and this guy's knocked out or what? Yeah. He's bleeding and everything. Why are these guys not bruised up and, he's coming out next money. So it kind of clicked with me, okay. Yeah. But the thing was, what I appreciated about it is they didn't tell me themselves. Like they kept it hidden at least. Yeah. So there was still that mystique. And then you had this sort of boom period of the Attitude Era, and it was the only time in school where I became popular because I was known as the wrestling fan, and all of a sudden Steve Austin's around, and it's like, oh, now it's suddenly cool. Let's find out all the facts from him. So, but it was kind of one of those things where a lot of the younger fans were older now, and so they were able to watch the product for now because it was kind of hitting their sort of satire more. What sort of was clicking with the boom period. But obviously, since then, I think probably till about the WrestleMania you watch, around at 23, 24, I think everything in WWE has just become quite, I don't know how to say it, but very much the same. The look. It's very hard to distinguish, and I think it's almost got to that point where it's almost too perfect for me. Like you'll watch a WWE wrestler come out and do their entrance. It's like watching the 2K20 game because they don't change anything. The camera angles are exactly the same every week. The commentators don't talk in certain points, and I'm like, it's kind of too perfect now, It's like there isn't that sort of like, oh, he might do something over there on his entrance or change it up a little bit. And I think it's those things that take me out of it. But it's probably because I'm looking way too deep. Let me ask you: did you watch WrestleMania from this year?
As I said, I cannot watch pay-per-views and sit all together, but I have in total watched. I'm up to the Boneyard match of night one, so I have watched a little bit of it.
Okay, I won't give you
I'm
any
continuing
spoilers.
To working through it every day, but so I'm now up to the Boneyard match, and I'm quite excited because I've heard very good things.
Yes, no, that's something you should be excited about. I've got to say, I won't give any spoilers away here for you, but I've got to say, when I was watching WrestleMania, obviously on our podcast, I'd done all these kind of like big build-ups. We've done a lot of watch-alongs. It was the worst decision I ever made. Because when you see all these massive stadiums and everything, and you're hyping yourself up, this is WrestleMania. You got the introduction, Stephanie McMahon, and then they cut to this crazy promo, which they kind of took the mick out of themselves. Which I was kind of happy about. And then they done the extravagant national anthem, piece by piece. And then all of a sudden it is on, and it's Gronk, who just drives me mad, that guy.
It was a little bit heartbreaking. Wow. Yeah. But, fair play to them for still putting it on. Like, wrestling was around for back in the 70s. Like, I think people think it's quite a new thing, but it's been done before. I'm pretty sure they did like a crazy island match like years and years ago. The fact that they brought it back for this I thought was a very clever move, because that's all people seem to be talking about. It was the Edge and Randy Orton match, the Undertaker AJ Styles match, and John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. They seemed to be and they were the ones that were quote unquote the gimmick matches. So I think that was quite good. But I was actually supposed to be in Tampa this year to go and watch it, and I was booked as well for an independent show around there during Mania Week, and that was like this was the first time I was going to be booked for Mania Weeks, and I was so excited. And then when Trump announced the travel ban, I was like, oh, please don't do it to the UK. Please don't do it to the UK. A few days later, he did the travel ban to the UK as well. So I was like, okay, well, that's that then. I won't be going.
Did you buy like a package deal? Like, have you got refunds and all that stuff?
Yeah. So I just bought. So I was only going to WrestleMania and NXT. So I just bought. I just bought the tickets on Ticketmaster, and I think I think it was Viagogo for another one. But I've got refunds for WrestleMania, but I'm still waiting on NXT. But a lot of guys did the travel package, which you get like everything in, and hopefully they've got refunded now anyway. But it was weird for any wrestling fan.
A lot of my listeners have been emailing me, telling me their horror stories about it. They're still struggling with the amount of. With their whole refunds, but I think if you've gone with someone like Ticketmaster, you're fine. But those less established ones and StubHub and stuff like that, where people there's a lot of grey areas with it, and it's been a bit of a nightmare.
I'm not surprised.
I think for people, but oh man, and that's a bit of a gutting thing there, that you couldn't go and wrestle around that whole WrestleMania vibe. Wherever it turns up, that would have been cool. I know a few other guys that I know all the Progress guys were going to be heading on out there as well. Which obviously got cancelled. It's just such a good, that whole feeling of being in one place with 80,000 people just flying in, just wanting to get their fix of wrestling in and around. It's such a good vibe and place to go to. So
have you ever been to WrestleMania before?
still not been to a WrestleMania. I've been to pretty much everything else, but not a WrestleMania. So I have that on my bucket list to do.
From experience, I've got to tell you that you've got to go. You've got to go.
Yeah, it has to be done. It's
just as a fan, as a fan perspective, like I remember before I enjoyed it a lot more before I started wrestling, because now I've got a bit of a chip on my shoulder. But like as a fan, it's incredible because there's people everywhere, like all wrestling consumed, like where like any bar you go to, there's wrestling fans there. So like as a fan, it's so like fun to like talk to all these people and like people from all over the world and things like that. So the vibes are insane. Like walking. So me and my girlfriend went to Toronto this year, and we didn't. It wasn't this year. Sorry, it was last year. And we didn't plan to go for SummerSlam week, but it just happened to be SummerSlam week. I don't keep up with WWE that much to know. And I found out. I honestly didn't know. And I found out like 2 weeks before that SummerSlam was on. I was like, oh, this is sick. I was just like, why don't we just go then? So we only went to NXT the night before, but even she was baffled about like coming out of the stadium and hearing all the chants. Even then, like everyone was going Adam Cole and like all those things. It's so much fun. Like you 100% got to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, my first ever experience to a live event ever was SummerSlam '92.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest with you, it's not the sort of memories that I can hold up because I was so young at the time, but there are very few memories, but I just remember that being massive at the time and just so many damn people everywhere. And obviously I was, at the time, I was a huge Bulldog fan. So the fact that he won that night, that was it. It was like the main event. And that was it. I was hooked after that. It's a very easy follow for WWF. But that's, when you think about it, 1992, my God, some time ago now,
that was,
it's all filtered.
I wasn't even born then, but there was so much talent around at that time.
It was a great show, great match, Bret Hart and Bulldog.
Yeah, it really was.
Anybody that hasn't seen that to check that match out. It's one of the best ones. Now, obviously, like, talk us a little bit about your style. Obviously, I've watched one of your matches. We've done a watch along with your match with Pete Dunne, but I haven't seen all of your work. But tell us about how your sort of that stuff come together and how you sort of put this move list together. And also, is there anything that you can see yourself adding stuff to and the style? Like, how would you describe your style?
That's a really good question. In general, I'll be honest, like, I don't think many independent wrestlers will admit this, but I don't think I'm a complete wrestler by any means yet. There's so much, like, especially over this quarantine period, there's so much I learned. I was like, wow, I'm an awful wrestler. Because there's just so much that Mike Quackenbush and Sid Scala have taught me. I'm just like, wow, I thought I knew, but I didn't really know. And I find that all the time, like when I go to like seminars and things like that, there's just so much insight into things. So I always find stuff like, okay, a lot of people do this move. I want to do something different then. I want to do a completely different move to what everyone else is doing. And that's something I'm working on right now. When I initially started, I thought I had to be a high flyer because I'm only 5'9". So when I watched the WWE guys, I was like, well, they're all like 6 foot, like 4 or 5, and like going all the way up to 7 foot. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to be someone like Rey Mysterio, who's gonna have to do like crazy high flying stuff. So when I first got in, I just wanted to learn all of that, like head scissors, hurricane ranas, 450s, all those kind of things. Now with the wrestling scene changing, I thought. Well, there's a lot of wrestlers who are lighter, still roughly like in between like 5'6", 5'7", all the way up to like 6 foot, and their wrestling style is different. It all depends on your body and things like that. And I'm not the lightest guy right now, so I'll do a lot of moves like strikes and things like that, and a lot of the cruiserweight stuff. So if you watch a lot of the UK scene, it's very easy to get inspiration from that.